Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 5-Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. I would like to shout out the people that roasted me in the comment section of the last episode saying, well, it's Dodgers, so none of these are going to be 5 minutes. Wow. Also, as a heads up, the geese are feral today. So I bet you didn't expect a sentence to start like that. We have geese and they honk a lot and they might interrupt me and I need you to just pretend it didn't happen. Okay, let's go. Today in the news, it appears that Unity's John Riccicello will be stepping down as CEO, chairman, and board member, effective immediately. But why? The company was doing so well. They didn't have any controversy going on at all. This all comes roughly 1 month after Unity announced their dubious runtime fee policy, which would, in summary, see developers charged a small fee when someone downloads a game made on their engine, once that game passes a certain revenue and install count threshold. Since this policy announcement, God, everybody, developers, publishers, pretty much everybody has really distanced themselves from Unity, and some are even taking the stance of we're just not even going to consider it a viable option for our games in the future. And now Riccicello's departure is kind of the cherry on top of the messy sundae that is Unity. I didn't write that, but I like it. According to The Verge, many were quick to point the finger at Riccicello personally for the disastrous pricing changes, given his history of making controversial statements and decisions around monetization in the past. One such individual was The Verge's own Tom Warren, who back in September shared, Unity CEO John Riccicello was EA CEO when FIFA 09 launched with loot boxes. Last year, he said devs making games without monetization in mind are fucking idiots. In an EA stockholder meeting, he entertained the idea of charging $1 to reload an ammo clip in Battlefield. And while there hasn't been any official statement or anything saying that Riccicello is departing because of all of this controversy, if the shoe fits, and hopefully this is the last we see of Riccicello in the games industry for a while, or maybe forever, unless he notices that there's an open position for CEO at Sony Interactive Entertainment. You know what? Just edit that out. Pretend I didn't say that. CEO at Sony Interactive Entertainment. And now Unity's in this really weird place where even with Riccicello leaving, even with them, running back a lot of these policy changes, not all of them, but a lot of them, the damage has kind of already been done. At the very least, that seems to be the consensus across the games industry. So will Unity be able to rise again? Will people start looking at it as a titan once more? Honestly, we're just going to have to wait and see. Speaking of titans in the game industry, we could be seeing the close of the Microsoft acquisition saga. For real, the Activision Blizzard, that whole purchase, it could be closing as early as this week pending the approval of the CMA. And can I just say, Jesse, come closer. A little bit closer. You picked a wild week to be out of town, my dude. In anticipation of this deal finally going through, people are starting to speculate and question, when are we going to get Activision Blizzard games on Game Pass? In a post made by the official Activision Blizzard X Twitter account, the company shared, "It's awesome to see anticipation building for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. As we continue to work towards regulatory approval of the Microsoft deal, we've been getting some questions whether our upcoming and recently launched games will be available via Game Pass. While we do not have plans to put Modern Warfare 3 or Diablo 4 into Game Pass this year, once the deal closes, we expect to start working with Xbox to bring our titles to more players around the world. And we anticipate that we would be adding games into Game Pass sometime in the course of next year." Of course, this news is coming on the heels of Modern Warfare 3's expected release in November. It makes sense that it's going to take a little bit of time for that to come to Game Pass, right? Because during the FTC trial, Xbox Vice President Sarah Bond pointed out there is a current agreement in place that is going to keep Call of Duty from hitting Game Pass until January 2025. Sorry, COD fans. Patience is a virtue. That allegedly won't stop other releases from getting on the platform on day one post-deal. Shortly after Activision Blizzard's post, Jez Gordon, managing editor at Windows Central, shared, "Our sources indicate, surprising nobody, that despite Activision's statement, you can expect to see a bunch of Activision stuff hit Xbox Game Pass as soon as the deal is finalized." I'm just imagining some Microsoft employee huddled by a fire waiting with a big green button like, we gotta put Spyro and Marvel Ultimate Alliance on Game Pass. And if that rumor is true, it's I'm going to be curious to see how many games we're going to see go up on Game Pass basically the second the ink dries, because let us not forget that in 2021, Microsoft dropped like 20 Bethesda games on Game Pass basically the second that deal was done. So I'm not saying that Microsoft isn't going to play nice and do what the FTC has told them to do. I'm sure they're going to hang back on the games that they have to hang back on, but they will, mark my words, celebrate this deal. And it's going to be big. And that's been the news. We're all done. Guys, thank you so much for all of the sweet responses yesterday on the last video. It warmed my heart. It was so fun to read all of that. It was very nostalgic for me as well to do the news. So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. As always, you can find me at twitch.tv/DexBonus. There's a Next Fest that just started, meaning there's a bunch of demos to play of games that are going to be coming out. I'm going to be doing that basically the rest of the week. So if you want to see somebody play a bunch of demos, you can come hang. Otherwise, on behalf of myself and also Jessup and the lovely team putting this together, thank you for watching the news, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.